They say the fog hides secrets, but some secrets are waiting, patient, hungry, and they don't want to be ignored. The morning I drove into the white mist, I realized some things are not just unseen, they are waiting to take you. Before you hear the story, subscribe now. You shouldn't face this alone. It started as an ordinary drive, a cold gray morning with clouds hanging heavy over the mountains, promising snow or rain. I wanted solitude, a chance to escape the city's noise, so I took the old mountain road. It was winding and isolated, perfect for someone seeking silence. Yet, as I drove higher, the fog rolled in thicker than any I had ever seen. At first it drifted gently, but then suddenly it was a wall, so dense my headlights barely pierced it. The world vanished entirely, trees, rocks, the road all swallowed by white nothing. And then I noticed movement. It was subtle at first, just shapes shifting in the fog, elongated and unnatural. I told myself it was only the mist playing tricks on my eyes, but a sense of being watched pressed on me, a heavy weight in my chest. My pulse began to race. Then a figure appeared, a lone silhouette, standing perfectly still, thumb out in the universal hitchhiker pose. But something was wrong, profoundly wrong in its posture. The air around it felt chilling. I hesitated, a rational voice screaming to ignore it, to keep driving. Yet instinct overrode fear. I slowed down, my tires slipping on what must have been hidden ice. The figure stepped into the faint light of my headlights. It was tall and faceless, its features hidden by a deep hood. When it raised its hand, it wasn't waving, but pointing directly at me. I felt a chill run from the base of my skull all the way down to my toes. Against my better judgment, my curiosity made me unlock the door. The moment it entered the car, the space seemed to shrink. The fog pressed against the windows like a living, breathing cloth. My car's heater, which had been blasting warm air just moments before, struggled, the warmth evaporating instantly. I realized almost immediately this was not human, not any creature I had ever known. Its presence radiated a cold intelligence, patient and calculating. I tried to speak, but my voice sounded hollow, swallowed by the suffocating mist. It didn't respond, only stared. The longer I looked, the more it seemed to change. Its features shifted subtly, impossible shapes forming and dissolving in the space where its face should be. Eyes would appear and disappear. A mouth curled into a smile that felt like a twisted reflection of my own growing terror. The fog outside became alive. It moved in unnatural patterns, twisting and curling, wrapping itself around the car, pressing against the metal as if it were aware. My hands trembled as I tried to restart the engine. I stomped my foot on the accelerator, but the car resisted. The engine coughed and sputtered, refusing to catch. The figure leaned closer, impossibly close. The air grew cold enough to burn my skin. Its gaze felt like it was crawling into my mind, probing and studying me. Whispers filled my head, not sound, but thoughts, visions of being dissolved into white nothing, of becoming a part of the fog itself. In a blind panic, I slammed on the brakes. The car spun wildly on the hidden ice, sliding into a small clearing off the road. The mist swirled, encircling us, thickening until I could see nothing else. And then all around me, dozens of shapes emerged from the white. They were tall, long-limbed, and featureless, gliding silently toward us. They surrounded the car, forming a cage of their own bodies. They didn't walk but drifted, their forms bending and stretching in impossible ways. The car itself seemed to be resisting me now. The steering wheel was heavy, the pedals sluggish, as if the mist was pressing directly on my muscles. The whispers grew louder, telling me I belonged here, that I had always belonged. My vision blurred, reality bending around me. The fog twisted into nightmarish visions, trees folding in on themselves, the road stretching to infinity, shadows of my own body moving independently of me. And then I understood. The mist didn't merely hide things, it created them, it shaped them. It fed on fear, on attention, on life itself. The figure in my passenger seat smiled, impossibly wide. Its teeth were too long, its eyes glowing with a faint, predatory light. A scream tore from my throat, raw and desperate. My heart hammered against my ribs, my lungs burned, but adrenaline fueled a desperate need to escape. I threw the door open and stumbled out into the fog. The snow crunched under my boots, the air freezing my lungs with every breath. Every step was uncertain. The mist was alive, pressing in, curling around my legs, reaching for me with invisible tendrils. I ran blindly, tripping, falling, and pulling myself up again, driven by a primal need to survive. The shapes closed in, whispering in my head, echoing memories that were not my own, promising erasure, absorption. I realized the fog wasn't just weather, it was a predator, patient and eternal, waiting for travelers like me. I ran until my legs burned, until the world began to change. The fog thinned slightly, revealing the dark shapes of trees. A weak hint of sunlight pierced the gloom, but I could still feel its presence. The shapes lingered at the edge of my vision, shadows flickering where they shouldn't be. When I finally reached the highway, the fog receded behind me like a tide pulling away from the shore. I dared to look back. I saw them, standing at the edge of the white nothing, waving, smiling, waiting. They were patient, knowing I would never forget. And I knew then that the fog follows you. It's always there, watching, patient, infinite. Every time I drive into mist, I feel it press against the car, I hear the whispers. So I'm warning anyone who travels in the fog, move fast, do not linger, and never, ever stop. If you see something that shouldn't exist, do not look. Do not acknowledge it, or it will follow you. Even now, years later, I still see shapes in the early morning mist. I still remember the terror, the cold, the whispers, the presence that is patient, endless, and hungry. I survived, but the lesson is clear. The fog is never empty, the silence is never safe, and curiosity is a dangerous invitation. Every drive, I check the shadows, the edges of my vision, the reflections in my mirror, and every whisper in the mist reminds me that some things follow, patiently, invisibly, eternally. If you ever see fog so thick it seems alive, just leave, drive, run, and never stop. And pray you are not noticed by the shapes that watch, learn, wait, and hunger. If you thought this story ended here, think again. The fog is patient, it waits, and it has many secrets still hidden. Don't stop now, dare to watch the other videos on this channel, and discover what else lurks in the shadows. But remember, some stories follow you long after the screen goes dark.